Hey guys, this is Melissa Bachman. Are you ready to stop spooking deer before it's even time to hunt them? Then you need the new Flex S Dark cellular trail camera from SpyPoint. With a no-glow flash option, long-lasting solar power, and a ton of settings that can be changed anytime through the SpyPoint app, there are no more excuses for letting your deer get wise before the season even starts. So check it out for yourself and see why the SpyPoint Flex S Dark is the unstoppable and undetectable scouting tool you need for your next hunt.
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit purina.com/purple to learn more.
Bow hunting all comes down to a moment. And in the moment, you want equipment on your bow that will get the job done. Trophy Ridge products are the tools bow hunters trust. React technology sights, rests, stabilizers, and quivers to help a bow hunter be successful in the field. And those tools are from Trophy Ridge.
Outdoor Drive Podcast.
I need a scapula right there.
A scapula.
I was listening to a podcast today or yesterday, moose hunting podcast, and the kid was like, "Yeah, this is my scapula." It was a gear. He was talking about his gear, and he's like, "This is my scapula." He's like, "I've been using it for 3 years," and I'm like, "Brian burns through one in 3 days."
Yeah, we had to replace it after the third day.
Oh man, I went through 4 this year.
Already in a 5-day hunt.
Yeah.
I see
They were just shattering.
I see some people use like canoe oars.
Yeah.
They found one. Who found the oar this week? Johnny,
yeah.
He found an oar in the woods that somebody must have been using.
That's great. That's a lot to carry. Well, I guess it's like a walking stick too, right? As you walk through everything and using that thing. That's pretty wild. All right, well, boys, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive Podcast. This is the Moose recap from New Brunswick, I guess. I don't even know what to call it, Steve. Do you have like anything that you really want to call this? I don't even know. It's
Moose Camp.
Moose Camp, I guess. Well, why don't we start this thing right off, man? And Stevie, tell us a little bit about what's going on here and kind of point the direction for us.
Yeah, well, me and Dad just got back from Moose Camp. He had a tag, and we went up with Brian Williams here at Williams Woods and Water. So, just had an epic week. Great hunt, a lot of good experiences, and figured we can't not do a podcast and tell the stories, right?
Dude, I'm dying to hear the story. So, who's going to start it off and tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I guess I was going to hand it over to Brian first because it's his camp, and you can kind of like lead us into like maybe coming into camp and like right from the start, because we had a couple bonus days tacked onto the front, just scouting and getting familiar with the area and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of history to this one because Mark's been up bear hunting and he came up by himself the first trip, and then Steve joined the next trip, and Mark's been anticipating this moose hunt for a couple of years. So there's a lot of love and a lot of pressure going into this one. Pretty special to be able to guide those two this year. It made for an epic story, an epic hunt. Is one of the biggest grinds that I've ever been a part of in all my moose hunts, but we had so much fun doing it that it didn't seem like work at all at the end of it. We kind of got through it together, and it was just a really good team effort to grind it out for the 4 days that it took us to get the bull that we got. And I think Mark was well deserving. He was patient. We went through, and I talked to early in the week about the highs and lows of moose season, and that your luck can change around any corner at any given second. And there was so much of that. There were so many highs. There was a few lows, and just it was an epic week.
So I guess my question would be like, what when it comes to it, like what set this up to be such a grind of a season? Like, was there different weather than typically, or was it a little bit warmer, or kind of like what was going on before the season had started?
To be honest with you, I still haven't figured it out. Um, a lot of people are talking about this year and how it was different. I've hunted. That was my 29th moose hunt that I was on, and I've been in moose hunts that the weather was way warmer. So I'm not saying that the weather was too warm. I'm not even complaining about the weather because I've seen it way worse, and I've had easier hunts, we'll call it. And I think really there's so many things to think about. How we had a little bit of a cold snap earlier in the month, and the full moon was early September versus later September when it usually is, and those types of things that could have maybe affected the rut cycle and what the moose were doing last week. Um, I've been thinking about it ever since, and what you take from it and what you can learn from it. Um, what I did notice was that the bigger bulls were most likely on lockdown with cows and not really responding. Like we had some commit, or commit to a certain distance and then not fully commit to close the last 50 yards, where we could get a look or a shot. Didn't have a lot of challenges, that I've had in the past where you get bulls just coming crashing through the woods and grunting and smashing and raking the whole way, and they'll just come and walk right over top of you. I didn't really have much of that. Um, the first day we opened in morning on Tuesday, we started talking to moose right at daylight, and we had them answering and responding all the way till noon. So I thought the week was going to be unreal, but it kind of just stayed a little bit too quiet. Um, so yeah, I don't really know all the answers. I do know that the moose hunt is down 25 to 30%. The harvest numbers are down 25 to 30% provincially, than what they were in the past. So that it goes to show something. Um, but yeah, like I said, I don't have the answer on why they were acting that way. We were successful, so I'm not going to question it too much.
For
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
But what I will say, I enjoyed the challenge of it, and I always told myself if I don't learn something, during a moose hunt every year, then I might as well quit doing it. And I learned a lot last week.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, and especially with that pressure of being with Mark before and Steve and being in camp, and then this comes in, and then the weather's a little funky. Like, there's probably some type of feelings that you had when the boys rolled into camp.
Yeah, and be honest with you, like I said, I would have taken that weather last week and any
Mm.
moose season previous. The mornings were cool. There wasn't a lot of wind. It was hot during the day and the afternoon, which is typical, and we just kind of chill out and have lunch and have a little snooze in the woods anyway during that time when kind of act like a moose and lay down for the afternoon, and then get back up and on your feet in the evening, and it started to cool down and the wind died off at a good couple hours before dark. Like there was no to me there was no real excuse, as far as the weather goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crazy thing was, so like we roll into camp Saturday afternoon. We went out scouting Saturday night. Brian, Tyler, me, and Dad, and like, dude, like we got on a couple good bulls Saturday night. We saw a bomber Sunday morning. Found the piss hole Sunday. Like it was like, let's go, baby. Now we still have Monday, all day Monday, and we don't hunt till Tuesday. And then like once Tuesday rolled around, it was like I wouldn't say it died, but it was like the what we were seeing Saturday, Sunday. By the time Tuesday rolled around, it definitely had slowed down. Like Brian said, it might have been some kind of lockdown or something like that. But coming into Tuesday, it was looking really good, and then we got into it, and it turned into a grind quick.
Well, what were you guys doing scouting though? Like what does scouting even look like in a moose hunt like this? Like what are you going out and looking for and trying to do in that time to try and find bulls?
So what I do really
No
is I
bottleneck
mess
cut.
around all summer. Yeah, mess around all summer with trail cameras and trying to get a bead on some bulls and where they're at. But they, it's proven every year that they, the 1st of September they start moving. They start moving different areas, but really you kind of just get an idea of what's in the area for bulls with those cameras during the summer. But really, the couple days before the season is the most important to decide on where to hunt because, moose are kind of stupid in the sense that they show you where they're at. They, with their tracks on the road and or the trails, and then their fresh breaks where they're starting to set up their areas and their territories. Like they'll shred all their bushes and trees apart, right? And you'll find fresh leaves and branches on the road where they're raking. So those couple days leading into the season is really it helps you pinpoint where you want to start on the opening day. It's a 5-day hunt, so you gotta do that couple day preseason checking to make sure that you're in the right spot. And Steve mentioned the wallow. We found one of those on Sunday, I believe it was, and one of those is key to hunt over. But the problem with that one was it was right on a main forestry road that you could get tied into traffic or whatever if you try to set there or set up. It was just a nice animal to see. It was a beautiful bull and had some cows with him, and we got to hear them talking a little bit that morning. So it was just a really good experience. I would have liked to have found that on a different area or a different road that we were hunting, but
Is there other guys in there that you have to compete with?
yeah, I mean, we hunt in the area that we hunt is 250,000 acres, um, and it's gated, and they only let 50 tags on that property.
Wow. So there's 50 other moose hunters in there moose hunting. So you kind
So
of
as far as like, yeah, but I mean, how many people did we see throughout the week? We weren't like tripping over anybody or running into anybody saying, "Oh, we're hunting here and you're not," kind of deal. Is some of the main throughways you'd pass somebody, but there's so many areas to hunt in there that you don't run into any trouble.
yeah, that's crazy. So take us right into Tuesday morning and what ended up happening and how it went.
I'll let that tell this part.
Oh, uh, I just want to say I think it was a grind after looking back on the week, but I think that it was meant to be for the three of us to go through that as close as we've become. I look up to Brian. He's good at what he does. He's excellent at what he does. Um, he works hard for the hunters. I've seen that in bear camp, and twice as hard as a moose guide. I really enjoyed following him around, watching him do his thing, telling me to get ready. Here he comes. It's very, very exciting. It happened many times before we finally did, you know, make the shot and get the moose. But I just really think it was meant to be for us to spend that kind of quality time hunting because of our friendship and as close as we've become. I mean, we saw a moose Monday morning. Like, how did the hunt start? Monday morning, first time in the woods, first call of the week, and we had a response, and it, literally, here he come, and stepped right out in front of us at 25 yards, and Brian's like, no, 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 but kind of slowed down from there. But I really believe it was meant to be. Every time I looked at Brian, he assured me it's going to happen. Rest assured, it's going to happen. Next day, it's going to happen. And it did, and it was incredible to be with Steven, to be with Brian. Uh, it was meant to be. It, I can't put it into words. It was meant to be.
Mark, when that first bull stepped out at 25 yards, what are the thoughts that are just rolling through the head? Because this is the first time that this thing's been this close. You have a gun in your hand.
Dude, just to hear him grunt. And Brian's, here he comes. He's coming. Set up. And Brian went to the opposite side of the road. Steven's, of course, filming over my shoulder. And the funny thing about it is it stepped out where I could get a clean, almost a broadside shot. And I said, Steven, should I shoot him? Steven's response was, do you like him?
Well, don't leave that judgment to him.
This is what happened. So it's first morning, first place we go, Brian calls. First thing you do, you hear snap. Just snap. And like me and Brian's eyes light up. I'm like, get ready. So we just like a turkey call. You strike that turkey, it's like, oh shit, like take cover. So we get behind this alder bush and he's coming. Brian's like, he's coming. You can hear him grunting. So it gets to the point where we're like on a branch road. So Brian's like, I'm going to cross the road and call from, he's going to back call. So he's like, I'll let you know if it's a shooter or not. So I'm like, all right, cool. So Brian takes off. So Dad turns around and looks at me. And he's like, where's he going? And I was like, he's going to go call over there. He's going to let me know if it's a shooter. So I'm watching Brian go across the branch road, and I'm watching him, and he's like, gets down in the ditch, and he's like getting set up. And I turn and look forward, and I'm like, oh, shit, the bull's standing there. So I look back at Brian. He has no idea. And I'm like, shit.
No more than 30 yards away from him.
So Dad's like, should I shoot him? And I'm like, I don't know. It happened so fast. Like you're kind of overwhelmed and like caught off guard, and I'm like, I don't know. And like Dad's like, well, and I'm like, do you like him? So the bull turns, he's coming right at us, like straight frontal. He's definitely inside of 50, and like kind of turns quarter and across. And finally I look back at Brian, and Brian can now see the bull, and he's like, no. And I was like, no, don't shoot, don't shoot. And I'm glad, man, because it was like a great encounter. And like, even if that's a giant there, like I couldn't imagine ending that hunt in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
2 years of anticipation and all that scouting and hard work, and like to pull the trigger there and end the hunt. Like, okay, you get a giant moose, but like you don't get the experience or the thrill of the hunt and the grind and everything that makes that hunt rewarding, right?
Well, that would be the thing. Like, if you were to go anywhere and go for any type of trophy animal and you kill it in the first 15 minutes, what kind of hunt is that? It's not a well-earned deer, a well-earned animal at that point, because you're just pulling the trigger, right? Like, you don't get to experience the whole thing. Then it would have just been over.
It was a setup to hook us.
Was it?
Because I was all in after that.
Yeah. It didn't matter if you shot one or then after.
It was all part of the plan, boys. It was all part of the plan.
Yeah. It just reeled me in. Whatever he said, I did to the best of my ability, and I knew it was going to turn out. I knew it was going to happen.
That's awesome. I think it's just crazy. Awesome. Just especially right off the bat, it fires you right up. It's like calling in a turkey and it's a Jake, and you're like, all right, I know this is what's gonna happen. We got this. And then when it does come up. So what happened after that?
Another bull came in. Just caught a glimpse of him. He was even smaller. Same spot. Like we didn't even move. And then there was a third bull making some noise. Didn't come in. Like could have been one of the other two. But like it was an action-packed morning right from the rip there, right? So after that, it's run and gun, like back to the truck, drive up the road, hit another spot, get out, call, hope you get a response of some sort. No response, back to the truck, down the road you go to the next spot, right? Like just run and gun, cover as much ground as you can.
And they're that responsive and vocal, like a turkey would be, or like what they talk about elk hunting and whatever, because you don't really hear much about it moose hunting, because not a lot of people moose hunt, right? Like it's a very small number of people that do it, but they're that vocal.
That time of year, yeah, that time of year for that and a couple more weeks, they're really vocal, and especially if you get inside their bedroom or they're inside their bubble, and you can talk to them and they'll respond. We like when we left that spot opening morning and we went up to the next area, we went and tried we went and tried one spot. We didn't get an answer within a 20 minutes, half an hour. We went to another spot. By this time, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. And by that time, usually you don't get too many more answers. But we got another bull. We got another bull right there at 10 o'clock. And he was big. You could tell he was breaking trees and raking hard and grunting. And he'd come down off a hill, and I thought he was going to come right to us. But he was in a really thick buffer on a stream between us and another like a hardwood ridge. He was really down in the thick stuff, so I was trying to bring him out. We had a nice little opening there, and we had him coming for a good 45 minutes. He was walking back and forth, grunting and smashing, and then finally at that point, you're like, all right, he's big, he's smart, he's not coming out in the open. We got to go in after him, and so we snuck down into that tree line and buffer and tripped a few times getting in there, and but we talked to that bull for 2 hours. And he just wouldn't close. He needed to really come another 20 or 30 yards, and he would have been right in our view in the woods. That's how close we were to him. But again, he just stayed outside of that and non-committal, and they're just smart. When they're that big, they're smart, and they know something's not right. And he wanted to mess around, but he didn't want to commit.
Join us at a Friends of NRA event where freedom, fun, and firearms come together like nowhere else. With more than 600 events held across the country, there's always one happening near you. From exciting games to exclusive auctions featuring one-of-a-kind firearms and gear you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're a lifelong hunter, a competitive shooter, or simply passionate about defending freedom, there is a seat for you. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you and get ready for a night you won't forget.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
But anyways, so that was noon by the time we gave up on that one that day.
Yeah, we played with him for a while.
Yeah.
And is that what you do? You just kind of sit low during the middle of the day when the sun is high, and you just kind of chill and just kind of relax it out?
Yeah, I mean, you're up early, right? We were getting up at 3:30 in the morning, and and going an hour and a half to 2 hours to our hunting grounds, and then hoofing her. So by midday, we got to feed the hunters and give them a little bit of, an hour or so to rest and regroup for the evening hunt. Not too many moose are shot at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the odd one or two, maybe in a water hole or something like that, if you're lucky, but they're usually bedded down that time of day. So it doesn't hurt to give everyone a little bit of a rest, get some food into you and think about what you're going to do for the evening set.
Yeah, it gets cool there too, because that late, not that day, because we'd messed with that bull till noon, but a lot of times that late morning and then immediately after lunch, you spend a little time just road scouting, right? Driving secondary and third branch roads, looking for breaks, looking for tracks, anything that you can kind of find, maybe not necessarily for this evening's hunt, but you might find something that you want to circle back on tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. So you're always scouting a day ahead just in case it doesn't work tonight,
Look how much these guys have learned.
Yeah, they're going to teach you. They're guiding the guide. That's what we
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
No, it's awesome. I love hearing it.
Oh, yeah, we learned a lot.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the experience, right? Because like you go up there and that's what you're there to do, is to learn how to do such a thing, and you spend so much time doing it, it's like second nature, right? I mean, like what do you boys think? Like you guys could go and guide moose hunts, no problem.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I can't call like Williams, but I think if you give me like an e-collar and turn me loose, I might be able to scuffle something up. I think so.
It's just that, I did a little working out for the last 6-7 months since I've been home from the bear hunt in the spring. Lost a little weight, got in shape, but you just can't wait to get over the next rise or the next hill and listen to him call and see what happens. It keeps you motivated. It keeps you moving. Very inspiring just to listen to him do his thing. And then, of course, you're listening for a grunt or a branch to snap, maybe a rake in the woods that you can identify as a moose. I mean, these two guys were hearing it before I heard it, but I caught on towards the end, and I'm like, wow, this is really happening. I thought they were playing with me there for a couple of days, but they weren't. And when you learn what's going on, it just you want to be out there. It wouldn't have bothered me to shoot the last evening, just because of the experiences we were having.
But Mark, you just brought up a really good point, like having to work out prior to the hunt and whatnot. Like, was that a big part of it? Like, you think that to get yourself physically shaped to be able to do such a thing, like that was one of the things that that you needed to do?
I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Very glad I did it. I talked to Brian when I was up there in June. He goes, "No, we're gonna walk, and then we're gonna walk some more. If things don't work out." And I would dare say, what do you think? I shot Friday, so Thursday we probably walked 5 miles that day, up and down that first hunt in the morning. That was a good couple of miles, 2.5 miles, just in the morning hunt, one cut where we went. I couldn't believe that we didn't hear anything. But yeah, I'm very glad and very fortunate that Brian told me to start walking, because you're going to do a lot of it, and it paid off.
Do you think that you'll continue to do that regimen to keep yourself fit, as to make yourself more successful in the woods?
I think so. I feel a lot better, definitely. Deer season's upon us, and he's always in the woods, so I don't have a whole lot of people to call until dark.
Yeah. So
if I get something in the morning or midday, I'm sure I can get it out by myself now.
Right.
Definitely.
No, I just know that it's important because you endure something different, right? It's not just going to that deer stand, like you're watching and walking and going, and it's a lot more physical than it is just regular stand sitting.
For sure. The older you get, the harder it gets, but
the good thing about it is, right, it's you're never bored. You're always moving. It's either we're here, there's either a moose here or not. We're going to give them 15, 20 minutes. If we don't get a response, we're moving, right? Like on to the next spot, walk here, walk in, call nothing, keep walking, call nothing, keep walking, call nothing, walk back to the truck, go to the next spot. Like we're not going to sit and burn, 2-3 hours just calling the same area. If there's nothing moving, we're out.
So my question is, like, you come up to this cut and you try and call at him. Like, what are you trying to grunt at him? What are you trying to do? And then what is kind of that response to you trying to get from them? And then does it always happen right away?
From my experience, what I always try to do is I try to act like two moose. I try and act like a cow and a bull, and most of the time like an irritated cow with a younger bull with it. So if there's a bigger bull in the area, he's gonna react to that. And usually, if you get it, you'll get an answer from a bull on a cow call most of the time. And then if you challenge him with a bull grunt and bull rakes, and he reacts to that and rakes back you and grunts back you, it's usually we'll call it a more mature bull. If you get an answer from a bull on a cow call and then you start acting like a bigger bull and they shut up, then it usually is a sign to me that it's a smaller bull or a bull that's already been beat up. And then they'll either sneak away or they'll just hang up and not make any more noises, right? So, from my experience, when I just act like two moose, get the answer on the cow call, because then you'll get the bull grunt, And then if you challenge him and he reacts to that and challenges you back and comes in, you're usually looking at a mature animal, or at least something decent that you can take a good look at and and consider.
And you can hear him grunt from a long ways away.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, up to probably, if I put a number on it, 400 or 500 yards.
Wow, that's crazy because like it doesn't sound like they're that loud. Like it really doesn't. Like like it doesn't seem like it's all that loud.
No, and they're ventriloquists too. They make a lot of different noises, and they can sound far away when they're right on top of you, or vice versa.
Hmm.
And if they want to be loud, they're loud. And you'll hear branches break, and they're not quiet. They don't sneak in like a turkey or anything like that, right? They when they're walking through the woods, they're breaking shit.
Right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Brian had said that early in the week. He's like, more often than not, the first thing you're gonna hear is a branch snap, and it's not like coming through the woods snap. It's just a distinct snap. And he's like, most of the time, that's the first thing you'd hear. And like, okay, you don't think much of it, but truth be told, almost every time that was the first thing you'd hear. You just hear a snap, and that's all you need to know. Like 100%, that is a moose. That was not a coincidence. It wasn't a squirrel. That's a moose.
And what is the snap? Like what does that signify? Like what are they doing to snap that branch?
Well, sometimes they when you're going in the evening, for example, and you start calling, say 5:30, 6 p.m. You get a couple hours of daylight left or whatever. That's them getting up, and they'll break something as they get up, or they step on a log. Like they'll respond by breaking something, and or if they're out a long distance, and it's quiet, not windy, that branch snap or whatever breaks, and that kind of triggers you to focus in that direction. And not too long after that, you're going to start hearing the grunts. So,
Hmm.
the breaking a branch, or stepping on a log, or when they're not graceful animals walking through the woods. So when they go over a windfall or something like that, and they break branches going through it, it's loud.
Hmm.
And so that stuff will echo through the woods more than, say, a low grunt. So you kind of gets you focusing in that direction, and then you'll start to hear it. Because usually when you're going in an area and you let out a call, you're kind of listening 360 degrees. Okay, where is this bull or moose going to come from? And then you hear a snap. Well, then you start focusing in that way, and you can kind of tune into it. Um, but yeah, that's just, again, from experience. That's a lot of times it's the first things that you'll get is them breaking something.
All right, boys, get us into the meat and gravy of this. I want to hear about this hunt full fledged. What happened?
Go ahead, Bry.
As an overall recap.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to hear about it. I want to know the meat and gravy. Like we're into this for half an hour. Like I want to hear what happened, what made the moose go down.
A lot of it, really, what I, again, on reflection of it, is adapt and overcome to the situation that you're in. Um, where I thought we were going to hunt a couple weeks leading up to the season is not where we hunted.
Mm.
Um, and it really came down to the last couple days before the season, like we talked about earlier, and scouting around, and then the types of forests and things that we hunted for the first couple days. I will say this: we hunted everything. We hunted high elevation, we hunted low, we hunted around water holes, we hunted hardwoods, we hunted softwoods and plantations, and we hunted mixed woods. Trying to make it happen throughout the week. Um, and there was no consistency to what we could say. Okay, the moose were high, the moose were low, the moose were around water, the moose were in hardwoods. There was nothing. So it
Right.
was really just attack, 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 until you can make it happen, right? And that's the type of hunter that I am. And you know, leading to when we actually harvested the moose, it was getting to that area where we were seeing moose, hearing moose, and kind of closing in on them, right? And then picking, different spots around that area to try. And the bull that we killed was saw the day before by one of my guides. Um, when he was going to one of his spots, and so we made a plan. We were in that area anyway, that we were heading that direction. we made a plan to go in and attack that bull. And sure enough, he was in the same spot as he was the day before. And we tippy-toed in there like a turkey.
Yeah.
Well, we
Um,
actually put a move on him the night before on the other side, and
yep.
we did get a response, a couple grunts. Thought we were in the action, like he was coming, and then a couple cows started, calling, and he just sat right there where he was. So we kind of knew where he was the evening before. So going in the morning, Dad killed, like we're pretty sure he's going to be right there.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of forgot about that.
There's a lot,
That
so much.
yeah, there's so much. The evening before the kill, that's right. He was down there with a cow in that buffer, and we knew that there was a bunch of cows hanging around that area. So, and there's several bulls there too. Um, I seen a big one there a couple days before Mark and Steve got there. Actually, it wasn't the one that we killed. It was in that class or bigger. So there was something going on in that area. That week. So it was the spot to focus in on, and I had no plans of hunting there, like I said, leading up to the season, but that's where it happened. And it's all about adapting. You can go and scout all you want and see all the animals you want before the season, but until you get that gun in your hand or the hunter with you, you can't really do much about it. So, once you get the hunter with you or the gun in your hands, then you kind of have to really zone in and just hunt. Um,
So the night before that, he just held up and he just wouldn't budge. And is there like anything that
yeah,
you can do to try and make him do that, or like you just kind of hold on and hope for the best?
well, that we started running out of daylight at that
Okay.
point, that evening, right? And there wasn't enough time to go down over the hill and go crashing through the woods and get into the dark and pressure them or bust them, right? So we heard him down in there with the cow. So you kind of know that he's not going anywhere. So we kind of snuck out of there, and the next morning he was with his cows again, and we just made a different approach. Got around the backside of where we were the night before, and he was there. He was out there about 300 and some yards when I had him in the binos. 5 minutes before daylight, and we just decided to hang tight and stay quiet and watch him until we got daylight, and then I started calling, and he turned and looked at us and put his head down and started grunting at us like coming on a dead line from 300, and we killed him 10 minutes later, I think. He come right in on us hard.
So you guys had eyes on him, and were just watching him and watching him and watching him.
Yeah, we had to watch him for a bit. Yeah.
He put on a good show.
What was that anticipation for you, Mark? Like that's got to be
Well, he was coming at us like almost head on, and Brian went down the road a little bit and cut into the cut, and tried to call him across, so he would go broadside, and he followed the calls. He answered the calls, and he started, got into the mode with the eyes rolled back, the horns going back and forth, and he just did what Brian told me he was going to do or wanted him to do. And, Steven's in my ear, Dad, there's your shot. There's your shot. There's your shot. I would say, what, 125 yards away. And I turned to Steven, I said, as soon as he clears those bushes, boom. And it was very exciting after that. I didn't know where the bull went. I pulled the trigger, the smoke cleared. I didn't see nothing. And Steven said, he's down, Dad. He's down. The fun began.
Nice.
It was
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. All right. Brian let out a yell you could have heard for miles around. Definitely.
What was going through your head as he's coming in? Like this is it. This is gonna happen. Like what is the thoughts? I mean, I couldn't even imagine.
I think the way the hunt went during the week, I had it in my head. It's coming down to this. And I had heard the grunts. I had heard the branches snap. The first day we saw the moose, at 25, 30 yards. I was ready. I was down on the sticks. I was into the scope.
we were getting to be the point. He was ready to go back to that first spot opening day to shoot that bull that we saw first 10 minutes. He was ready for that.
But yeah,
it was a nice animal, Steve.
But yeah, I was ready. You know, I've shot enough animals where, you know, hunting big bears with Brian, you kind of get over that until the trigger's pulled. I couldn't hardly hold my rifle after I pulled the trigger and he dropped. I had to get out there to him. I had to see him, make sure it was there.
I couldn't imagine that big giant animal just coming through the cut like that. Like that has to be the most.
It was super cool, right? Because we saw him in the cut. Dad didn't want to shoot him at 300, right? So Brian starts calling him. Well, there was a strip of pine still there. So he actually went back into the pines, right? So he disappears. So we're watching, and Dad's kind of watching where we saw him last. And I just had a feeling he was coming out to the left more, like 100 yards up to the left. And I said to Dad, I was like, keep your eye to the left, keep your eye to the left. And then just like every other hunt, the next thing we hear is a branch snap. Yep. And it's like, yep, he's to the left. So he comes out of the pines. This is why it was so cool. We got a little bit of everything in this hunt. We saw him, Brian called him. We got the branch snap. He comes out of the pines, rakes the alder bush, starts coming in, grunting, you know, horns going back and forth. Like it was like literally picture perfect when it comes down to like the moment of, you know, to end it all.
That's wild.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. When you pay with membership rewards points for all or part of an eligible flight booked with a qualifying airline through Amex Travel, you can get 35% of those points back, up to 1 million points back per calendar year. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Nature's Bounty. Nature's Bounty believes your body is brilliant, naturally designed to thrive, inside and out. For those always looking for new ways to support your health from head to heels, Nature's Bounty has a range of over 400 vitamins and supplements born from 50 years of trust and care. Nature's Bounty. It's in your nature. Visit naturesbounty.com to learn more.
It just blows my mind, to be honest with you. Like, especially I've seen tidbits of the video, so it's like it's super cool to see, and you guys have been through it all at this point, right? Like it's just,
oh yeah,
and the pressure's on, the sweat equity's in there, like that's incredible.
Definitely.
What were you thinking, Brian? Like you know it's coming, and you just want him to pull the damn trigger at this point, I'd imagine, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's at that point of the week you're starting to feel a little bit of the weight on your shoulders, right? As the guide, but I still had the utmost confidence that it was going to happen anyway. Just the way that we were going, the way that we were hunting. I wasn't losing faith. It's like, all right, let's just keep going. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and that's. Like I said, your luck changes in moose season. If you're hunting hard like that, your luck will change in a split second. And when I saw that moose turn his head and look at me, and him and I kind of locked at that 300 distance, and he put his head down when he come across the cut, just grunting like crazy. I was like, all right, I got him. And that was what I was waiting for that week, was that that commitment from a bull to come in and challenge me, because I didn't cow call at him. I went right to the bull, grunting and raking at him when he was out there. I was like, all right, if I'm going to get this guy, I'm going to challenge him. I want to see if I can get him fired up. And you get him in that trance, and he closed that distance super fast. And when he did that, when he stepped out of that row of trees and he raked the bushes, and and then I raked again back at him, and he kind of turned broadside to those two and started coming right at me. I knew I had him, and my heart started beating, just like if I was the hunter. I remember how hard my heart was beating because I knew that he was coming broadside. I was just anticipating the shot. But then when that shot went off and I just seen the antlers drop, it's just as the antlers dropped, the weight went off my shoulders as the guide.
It's been lifted.
And I think I might have even closed my eyes for a second and looked up and said thank you.
For sure.
Mostly for Mark. It really had nothing to do with me. It was just a thank you because Mark deserved it, and he made a wicked shot on that bull. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it was a relief, but it was exciting.
Sure.
What happens from there? Go ahead, Stevie.
Hold on. Well, one thing I was going to say, I think for the most part, Brian and we all stayed like pretty positive as far as like the grind was on, and like just like Brian said, we know at any moment this is going to change. Like the next time we get out of the truck, one call and it could be over in 8 minutes, right? And I wouldn't say it was discouraged, but like where the pressure started building, it was like, what do we have to do to crack this code? Like try the plantations. Not enough action. Then you tried the bog. Then you tried the beaver swamp. Then you tried then like Brian said, the hardwoods, the softwoods. Like they've got to be somewhere, right? So you're going through that checklist of like that killer's gonna kill mentality, right? Like they're not here. Check it off. Let's try this. Let's try this. So as the week's going on, after like day 3, it's like, what haven't we tried? Like what do we do tomorrow? Like something's got to give at some point,
right?
And it's just a matter of, like I said before, we're mobile. We're hitting a lot of spots in the day. We're hitting 5, 6, 7 spots before lunch, and same thing in the afternoon. Eventually, you're going to hit the right spot on the right day and find the right bull, and it's going to happen. But when? Like, when is it going to happen? And like as the days go by, you're like, it's got to happen eventually. Like, can it just happen now? Like
we ended Wednesday night and Thursday night. I shot Friday morning. We ended Wednesday night and Thursday night at the same spot. We had called in a bull Wednesday night.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday. Called in a bull, and like Brian had said earlier, he just he's there. He's so close, but you just can't see him. Brian was moving back and forth up and down the road trying to call him out in front of me, but he just got on then we went right back the next night. Exact same thing. Brian called to him and he was there. Exact same spot, exact same setup. He just would not commit and come out and give us a shot. So we had every confidence it was going to happen.
Hold on, there's more to that story.
No.
So the first night, like Dad said, the first night Brian's calling this bull. He's raking, he's grunting. He is right there. At like one point,
I thought I seen him.
I don't know how we didn't see him. We lose daylight, end of the day. Wednesday morning, we go about our business. We hunt all day. End of the night, hey, let's go back, try that bull tonight. Maybe he wants to die tonight. Same thing. We're in the same spot. The bull's in the same spot. He's making the same noises. Brian's doing everything he can think of to entice this bull to come out, and he's not coming out. So I think it was like 7:20, 7:30. We've got to like 7:50 shooting light. So I looked at Brian. I was like, dude, let's go after him. Put your horns up in the air. Let's go. So we're going to run this bull down. Like, we're going to stalk in and just try to get a crack at him. And like the bull just kept kind of staying he wasn't going anywhere. He was still there, but like just out of sight. So at one point we kind of like, Brian tells Dad, like, Mark, you got to go first. You got the gun. Like if we pop out and he's there, you got to be out front. So Brian sends Dad through this like strip of alders into this like, what do you call it? The boxing ring?
The wrestling ring. It was about the size of a wrestling ring, the area that I opened up into.
Just kind of like dried up mud or whatever, right? All tracks and everything. Some fresh tracks. Like the bull had just been there. Yeah. So we get through there. Brian calls again. Oh, he grunts on the other side of these alders again. And I'm right behind him. I'm videoing, I'm third place here. And there's another strip of alders. And it's like almost dark, like maybe 5 minutes of legal light. And Brian's like, Mark, you go first. Now at this point, we think this bull's at like 30 yards from where we're standing. and it's just like thick. We're in an opening, thick alders, and then another opening. And he's like, Mark, get in there. And it's thick, right? And Dad's like, what? And Mark's like, go. And Brian just like kind of just shoves him through the alders. And Dad's coming through the alders. And like, if this happens, Dad's coming through the alders and he's going to pop out like 10 yards from this bull. And this bull probably thinks he's a bull coming through the alders. And we pop out and there's nothing there. He's gone.
He's gone.
It was just wild. Just chasing him down.
It was meant to be.
It was.
It was meant to be.
That's what it seems like. It was meant to be. You could chase after him, but that wasn't the way that you needed to kill a moose. It's definitely not the way you were meant to kill a moose. Especially,
and there wasn't even a moment like when a morning hunt ended or an evening hunt ended that we looked at each other and said we're screwed.
No,
that never happened. It was just like, well, I guess we're gonna get them tomorrow morning, or I guess we'll get them tonight. And that's kind of the attitude and the mentality that you need on a 5-day season. Is you got 10 really good hunts. You've got a morning, you've got a good solid 3 to 4 hours in the morning, maybe 5, and then same thing in the afternoon. 2 to 3 solid hours of calling hunting. Or the way that we do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You can drive and beat roads and stuff like that all day long and might get lucky there. But for as far as like calling and in thick stuff, you got we'll call it 10 really good sets in a 5-day season. So you just got to believe, and you got to do your homework and just go at it hard for those 10 good hunts, and don't give up, and it'll happen.
Well, you guys were on them the whole entire time. It wasn't like you guys weren't on moose every single day. I mean, you guys were in them. It was just waiting for that to happen and for them to mess up and you to pull the trigger.
Yep.
That's it.
I felt like as the week progressed, to me, it felt like a lot of like problem solving. It was like taking all the information that we had, like your pre-scouting, the sign we were finding while we were scouting, where we were finding moose, what moose we're doing when we found moose, and kind of like putting it all together and like wrapping our brains around each other. Like, all right, there's a combination here that it's all going to come together and work. And it was like trying different combinations of like, let's try this spot. What do you think about going here? Boom. No. All right. That didn't work. All right. Let's try this. And eventually you're going to hit it right. And we hit it.
I was not going to be the one to end Brian's streak.
No
way. It wasn't going to happen.
There was a moose who's going to die.
Yeah, one way or the other. I knew it was going to happen in my head, and I wasn't going to be that guy.
So now that this moose is on the ground, Mark, you shoot and you got to see this thing. You're running up to it. What is your first what is your first thought as soon as you walked up on this moose? Because I could only imagine your face.
What the size of him, how big this animal actually was that I just put on the ground. It's hard to comprehend when you walk up to something like that. It's an incredible feeling. You conquered it, but the size of the animal itself is unreal. You just can't imagine that.
Oh, now what do you guys have to do? Now the work begins.
Oh, work.
No, not when you do it the Williams way.
Brian had that thing on the road in 5 minutes. We're probably 125 yards out in the middle of this cut. Steven drug this, what do you call it? Bedliner that Brian had rigged up out to the moose, drug the rope in. Brian had cut a hole in it, plywooded both sides at the front of the bedliner, ran the whole rope through it, tied it around the horns. And before Steven could get the camera up, it was almost at the road.
Yeah, I couldn't keep up. I was running after the sled, and it was gone.
He's got it down to a science.
That's crazy. And then you just pull it right up into the back of the truck, and that's the end of it.
Oh, yeah. After he ruined a good pair of my hunting boots. Can't even bring them in the house.
Yeah, Brian baptized Dad.
That's all right.
With some moose piss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that. So back to the recovery and like getting the animal out. That's a big deal, right? Brian has everything you can possibly need to get a moose out of some shit, right? But there's plenty of guys out there that aren't prepared to get a moose out, and like they don't think about it, or they don't think about where they're hunting. Now the moose is down, and now it's like, oh shit, like how are we going to get this thing out? Huge thought process of like things to take into consideration and be prepared for. And like we did see some guys out there hunting around us, like, you know, closer, like around town. They didn't have anything. Like I don't know what they would do if they got into a bad spot with a dead moose, you know?
What, like no chainsaw winches or anything like that? Like that's not the style. Like
I've got them.
right.
I have those. I have chainsaw winch and the porta winches and ropes and blocks and pulleys. And I've be honest with you, over the years, I've got myself to a point where getting a moose out is not a concern. If we know whatever situation we got to get into to get or to kill one, we'll be able to get it out. So that, you know, over time, you accumulate equipment and gear, and you see different techniques on how to do it. And you know, if we have to quarter one out, I've got the stuff to do that too. You just got to be prepared for that, and you know, if you can minimize your stresses in a moose hunt, and that being one of them, like Steve just said, you know, getting a moose out is a big deal. It's a big animal to move. You have to be prepared to do that. You can't just go in the woods with a rifle and drop a moose and then say, now what? You know, you have to be prepared for that.
I mean, Trev, like a rear quarter scun out is basically a whitetail.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, what is this thing dressed? Like, what is 1,000 pounds? Like, I mean, it's no joke.
Well, deboned, just straight meat. Dad dropped off 668 pounds of meat to Chakowski's.
668.
No bone.
Hey,
no bone.
You're gonna need another freezer, bud.
Dude, I bought one. I brought it home in a freezer.
Yeah.
I took one up.
Oh my gosh.
Estimated weight was 9 1/4. Live weight.
Live weight.
Yeah, they measure the nose and do a calculation, and they estimate it 925 pounds. Live weight.
That's with guts in it.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. That's nuts. But 660 pounds of meat deboned, like that's
deboned.
That's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You'll be eating moose for years.
Not the way we eat it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, when I took it to Chakowski's, she goes, it might take a week. I said, whatever. She goes, yeah, my father just got home from Newfoundland. You're number 9. I've got 8 in the freezer.
This episode is brought to you by Contentful. Marketers, you know that feeling when your creative clicks? When that social post sends engagement through the roof? When your outside-of-the-box campaign hits ROI positive? When a personalized homepage turns prospects into customers? It's utter marketing bliss. Contentful helps you create tailored omni-channel experiences without working overtime. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Get the feels at Contentful.com.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
Wow. That's not even fun. Like, I mean, when you got 8 more ahead of you, like, for that butcher,
think about that.
That's 8. That's 8 cows, like literally beef hanging cows. Like that's not.
For sure.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Jeez, that's awesome.
And that's all part of it, right? You know, getting that yield of meat off an animal on that type of hunt is, you know, that's the end game. And just happy that it worked out for you.
Yeah.
Can't wait to I'll tune in here and watch you guys eat or chew into one of them back straps or have a moose
for
burger
sure.
there. Yeah.
Oh, I'll be bringing some burger to bear camp in June.
Yeah.
Moose burgers together. Sure.
So now that you've done it once, now where are you going again? You gonna go shoot another one somewhere else, Mark, or what?
No, I'm going bear hunting again with Brian this spring, but I'm going to retire in about a year, and I've always wanted to go to Saskatchewan, maybe shoot a color-faced bear. Maybe Brian will come with me. But I've always wanted to do something like that, and I grew up in Ohio. I was born and raised in Ohio, and I'd like to go out and shoot a whitetail, in my home state. When I was a kid, all we did was bird hunt. A lot of pheasants and quail and stuff like that. There wasn't a big population of whitetails in Ohio, where I lived. They were in southern Ohio, but I lived in northern Ohio, and everybody knows what kind of whitetails are, raised in Ohio now. And I'd like to go out and, with my Savage 220 and take one of them.
I think you'll do that, and you'll probably shoot a monster at that too, Mark.
It'd be nice.
We'll get Mark on a whitetail here in New Brunswick at some point too, so we can have
that'd be
all three
neat.
big game animals.
That would be something.
Yeah.
That's a dream.
Brian
Canadian.
Not too many people outside the province can say they've done that. So,
why do they not allow it, or what is the?
What's that?
Well, shoot a whitetail in the province.
The challenge of getting a moose tag, being one of them, and then doing the bear and the whitetail are, we'll call it somewhat over the counter. There's over the counter or outfitter tags, right? It's the moose hunts that are a little bit more rare to get on. So I can't say there's a whole lot of people that can say from outside our borders that have taken a moose, taken a bear, and taken a whitetail in New Brunswick.
Mark, I guess that's a goal to now knock off there. You're going to have to kill one in Canada.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, but it would be cool. For sure. I'll have a lot of time in about 15 months. So.
Yeah.
I'll be
Who's
getting
counting?
around.
Who's counting?
Who's counting? I'll be getting around.
Yeah.
For sure.
Stevie, he'll be hunting with you before you know it every day, right? In the November.
Imagine that.
Give him the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not hanging off the side of no tree in a saddle.
No, why not? Come on,
ain't-
Mark.
Nah.
Come on, it'll be good for you.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, it'll be all good.
Are we allowed to give shout outs?
Go ahead. Of course.
That a boy. We turned Brian into an animal.
Oh.
Yeah.
You like those, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I would say if anything sponsored that moose hunt, it was by far Black Rifle Coffee because that kept us going for sure.
What'd you bring up a case of them, Stevie?
2 cases.
Two cases.
It's the only thing that runs any type of season is those things.
That was the after lunch. Got to have one after lunch and get you through the end of the afternoon hunt.
And they did too.
Oh, for sure.
No question.
He's ready to go out moose calling after he drinks that thing and does this podcast. Brian's on his way to the Northwoods.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool.
No, I was just gonna say it's such a cool week, man. Like Brian said earlier, like we're leaving at 4:30 in the morning. We're not getting home till 9:30 at night. We're eating lunch in the woods, basically tailgating, right? Brian bring a little grill and cook up some burgers on the very good burgers, some of the best burgers on the tailgate, and just like you're in the woods all day. Back to camp, have a nice dinner when you get back to camp, and like everyone's ready for bed. Like it's strictly business, and like it goes by so fast, but like just an amazing week. Like for that, I didn't really realize it until I got home, but for that week, I forgot about everything. The only worries I had in the world is where are we going to kill this moose? Like, where's the moose? What do we have to do to kill this thing? Like, I forgot about politics. I wasn't on Facebook. I didn't have service all day. Like, we had it back at camp, but you're back at camp, you're eating and going to bed. So it was like, I had not a stress in my life except for killing this goddamn moose, right? And like, it was awesome.
Do you think for you, Stevie, like just being behind the camera was definitely like a different insight on the whole entire hunt in itself?
Yeah, I mean, different stresses, right? Like when you're the hunter, there's certain things that you stress out about, and then as a cameraman, like you're always worrying about batteries and SD card, and then like, dude, don't even get me started about the ride back to camp. I was scared to look, like, did I hit record? Was he in frame? Was he in frame? And I'm like, because when you're filming, you have to watch through the viewfinder. You can't look up with your eyes because that's when the camera walks on you. And I'm like, no, I know he was in frame. I watched that moose go down on the viewfinder. I know he was in frame. And then it's like, was I recording? Maybe I hit record and I stopped recording and I thought I was like, and it's like, I didn't want to open up the camera and hit play just to check. I'm like, I'm not looking. Like,
I don't want to know.
Let's just wait till we get back and pop the SD card in the computer. And I'm like, I got it. Baby.
I should have sent you with my monitor just because it makes it that much easier to have a big viewfinder to film. Like,
it definitely would have helped, and I thought about it, but like also like the miles we're walking and in and out of the truck and all that stuff. So like I was trying to keep it as minimalist as possible and as light as possible, and like it worked out good. I used the 4th Arrow monopod the whole time. At some points, I kind of wish I had the tripod. It would have been a little steadier, but it takes up a bigger footprint and heavier and all that stuff. So I just rocked out with the monopod all week, and it was actually perfect for that style hunt.
Well, I heard that you're the full-on videographer for Williams Woods and Water for the next 10 years, I heard, so.
we having some fun with it, for sure.
You boys did have some really cool
It's
videos.
probably a thing.
Yeah.
It's cool, and it's all kind of new to me too, right? Like I've been filming, but like it's a process, right? Like you learn as you go, and then you look at your footage, and then you take that into consideration as you go. But it's fun. Like I really enjoy it. It's not a chore to me at all. But like you, back to your original question is like, we get back to camp, Dad's taking care of his gun and taking care of like the hunting side of equipment. First thing I'm doing is I'm getting batteries on chargers and making sure my SD card's good for the next day. And like there was that one point that one bull that we messed around with that late morning there down in the gut. Like I'm looking at my battery and I'm like, man, I only got like 30 minutes of battery left. This SD card's kind of getting full. Like at what point do you swap over to another SD card? Like the worst thing that could happen is you have a failure. And now there's a bull, and Dad's gonna make the shot, and I do all this and not get the shot on film. Like, hey, he would have got his bull. That's great, but it kind of would have sucked to put in all the effort and then not get it on film.
And the scary thing is when you change an SD card, what if that SD card doesn't take the video footage? We've been through that before, and that's never good. Like, there's a lot that comes into that.
I actually have a clip on the SD card. The second one I put in that got the kill shot on it. When I put it in, I'm in the back seat of the truck. I put it in. I open up. I put it in record, and you can hear me say, "Hey boys, I just put a new SD card in. Like, say something, test. Like I want to make sure I don't have a right air or anything like that, right?" And they talk a little bit in the front seat. I turned the record off, hit play, played it back. I'm like, all right, it recorded, so let's run it.
At least you tested it.
Oh my God! There's so many stresses that you wouldn't even think about.
Oh, well, I have thought about them because I've had them happen, right? Like you drive back home 4 states. I'm in Ohio, shoot the biggest buck of my life, and come home and the recovery footage is gone. Like that's a scary thing when it comes to it.
So I have like a whole morning's worth of footage. So somewhere after Dad's moose, actually, you know what I think happened? Remember when I dropped the camera, the truck? After Dad killed, we had the moose loaded up in the truck. I kind of like dropped the camera a little bit. I checked it out. It looked good. The rest of that evening back at camp and the whole next morning, we were covering another bull for another hunter. I have no sound. My external microphone had come unplugged. I didn't know it until an hour later. Figured it out, plugged it back in. I don't know when it came unplugged. So when I went back to look at the footage, I have a bunch of really good shots and really cool stuff with no sound. And it's just, you introduce that camera, you're introducing more failure.
Yeah. Well, it definitely happens. Well, before we cut this thing off, Mark, we got to ask you a question because you've never been on the podcast before, and we ask everybody this question. We want to know, Mark, what drives you outdoors, my friend?
Being able to be with my son, recovering his deer, him recovering mine. We've been doing this a long, long time. And to have him along for this hunt and to be with Brian, experienced as he is, and a part of our family that he's become is a blessing. And I truly think the world of both of them, love them both to death. And I'm a lucky man, Trev. Very, very lucky man to have these two guys in my life and respect me and care about me the way they do.
That's awesome. No, that's so cool. And, before we break it off, since you brought it up, Oil Can, your good buddy Oil Can, just said not to mention the memories a father and son made. I am so jealous. So that's just another.
You know Oil Can.
Yeah, you know Oil Can.
Yeah.
We know him. But
Oil Can, Bear Camp, first week of June, bud.
Yeah.
8 months from today, we'll be in the bear stand.
Yeah, big shout out to Brian. If there's anybody out there and you guys have a great audience, you're looking for a bear camp, there's none better in New Brunswick. Big bears, lots of bears. You won't be disappointed. Give Brian a shout. Look at his website. Heck, give Steven a call. Give me a call. I'd be glad to help you with any information you're looking for. It's an easy trip across the border nowadays. Both ways actually, and you'd have a wonderful, wonderful time with Brian.
I guess that just sold me. I guess I'm going to have to send my deposit north. No. No. Mark, congratulations on your absolute moose.
Thank you very much.
I waited all week and to watch, and then I didn't want to hear too many teasers because I wanted to hear it straight from the mouth. So it sounded like you guys had an absolute great weekend. I cannot wait for the final film. Steve did put up some stuff throughout social media, so if you guys that haven't gone and followed along and seen all that, make sure that you go on over there and just check that stuff out and watch some of these cool videos that Steve did put together with Brian and Mark. It was absolutely cool, and I can't wait for the final film to be able to watch that because it's something special. So you guys, for everybody else, make sure to go and follow Williams Woods and Waters, Brian over there. You can book a hunt with him. I'll post a link here below. And other than that, man, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.